Hello everyone. Welcome back to Module 5 of Life Skills. In part 1, we had discussed the basic introductory elements of leadership. To summarize, we analyzed what all are involved in a leadership process, the important traits, as well as the framework of leadership. In part 2, we shall cover the different types and styles of leadership, levels of leadership, and leadership grid.
Now that we have an understanding of the roles of leader and follower, it will be easier to understand the different types and styles of leadership. Reputed science journalist and the author of Emotional Intelligence, Daniel Goleman, has outlined 6 different styles of leadership. Any leader can combine any of these styles to suit their situation and procure great results.
The first one is called authoritative style. The authoritative leader has a complete grasp over his actions. He has a proper strategy and he mobilizes the team towards a goal, expects the members to comply accordingly, and does not delegate authority. While this regimen is helpful to manage when the business is adrift or if the members are difficult, it has its downsides as well. Under such a strict regimen, the followers lose ownership and satisfaction and will also not work if the followers have more expertise than the leader. The next one is called affiliative style. Here, the leader is more concerned with the feelings and requirements of the followers rather than getting the work done. While the sense of value and belonging helps to nurture trust between the followers and the leader, this style has to be employed in tandem with other styles, otherwise will result in lack of direction and failure to accomplish the task. The third one is called coaching style. This style is employed to enhance the development of the performance of the members. The leader tends to believe in the potential of the followers and is especially beneficial for followers who look forward to personal development. The leader assigns challenging tasks to coach them and empower them to face challenges and resolve problems. The fourth one is called coercive style. This style requires complete compliance. This is the least effective of all the styles since it shall make the organizations less flexible due to the minimal innovative inputs and can also have a detrimental effect on the morale of the followers. The last style is called pace setting style. A pace setting leader sets high standards of performance. He or she demands excellence and urges the followers to finish the assigned task faster and better each time. This style is effective for members who are already motivated, but otherwise, people will find the ever increasing demands and rising standards overwhelming and tiring. Now let's look at the levels of leadership. In his work, The 5 Levels of Leadership Proven Steps to Maximize Your Potential, John Maxwell presents a way to understand and organize leadership growth through these 5 levels. Each of the level builds on the previous level and one can proceed to the next level only after mastering the previous level. As you progress, it will be easier to lead because your influence grows as well as your leadership becomes more service oriented. The first level is position. At this level, people respect and follow you because they have to. They respect and follow your position rather than follow you. This is the only level that requires very minimum ability and effort to achieve. People who make only to the first level may be bosses, but they are never leaders.
The second level is permission. Here, People follow you because they want to. This shift from the first level is the first real step into leadership. Here, the leader focuses on building relationships and opens up effective communication. Thus, people don't merely comply, they follow the leader because they trust and value the leader who trusts and values their opinions as well.
The third level is production. This level shows that building relationships are not enough. Good leaders always make things happen, they get results. Their credibility is based on their individual performance. But individual accomplishment is not enough. They prove their worth by helping their team achieve results. While many people reach the second level, it is very difficult to reach the third level since this level cannot be faked. The fourth level is people development. While corporate and personal productivity creates producers, leaders need to be developers to reach upper levels of leadership. Leaders become great because they empower others. They develop more leaders. Production may win games, but people development wins championships. People development assures that growth can be sustained. Self centered, insecure leaders neglect this stage in their development. Maxwell estimates that only 1% of all leaders ever reach the fifth level, that is, pinnacle. Leaders at this level understand that the highest goal of leadership is to develop more leaders, not to gain followers or do work. Level 5 leaders develop level 4 leaders. Developing leaders that can in turn develop leaders is hard work and takes a great deal of skill, focus, and a lifetime commitment. But those leaders that do create level 5 organizations. They create opportunities that other leaders don't. Level 5 leaders leverage their own leadership through others. People follow these leaders because of what they are and what they represent. When you lead an organization, you can't be focused on just fulfilling the vision or getting work done. Now we shall cover managerial or leadership grid. The separation of leadership behavior into task orientation and people orientation was a major leap in the leadership studies. Building on this division of leadership behavior into these two dimensions, Robert Blake and Jane Morton came up with the concept of managerial grid or leadership grid for determining leadership styles. As you can see in the grid given here, the x-axis represents the task orientation or concern for production, which involves monitoring and rewarding achievement of certain tasks. Meanwhile, the y-axis represents the people orientation or concern for people, which involves making employees feel good, building trust, and monitoring working conditions. Each dimension ranges from low 1 to high, that is 9, thus creating 81 different positions where the leader's style might fall. The 5 resulting leadership styles are as follows. The first one is impoverished management, that is 1 1. Managers with this approach are low on both the dimensions and exercise minimum effort to get the work done from subordinates. The leader has low concern for employee satisfaction and work deadlines, and as a result, disharmony and disorganization prevail within the organization. The leaders are termed ineffective, wherein their action is merely aimed at preserving job and seniority. The second one is country club style, that is 1 9. This is a collegial style characterized by low task and high people orientation, where the leader gives thoughtful attention to the needs of people, thus providing them with a friendly and comfortable environment. The leader feels that such a treatment with employees will lead to self motivation and will find people working hard on their own. However, a low focus on tasks can hamper production and lead to questionable results. The third one is authority obedience or task management. 9.1. It is also known as dictatorial or produce or perish style. Here, leaders are more concerned about production and have less concern for people. The employees' needs are not taken care of and they are simply a means to an end. The leader believes that efficiency can result only through proper organization of work systems and through elimination of people wherever possible. Such a style can definitely increase the output of organization in short run, but due to the strict policies and procedures, high labor turnover is inevitable. Next one is middle of the road. 5-5. This is basically a compromising style wherein the leader tries to maintain a balance between goals of company and the needs of people. The leader does not push the boundaries of achievement, resulting in average performance for organization. Here, neither employee nor production needs are fully met. The next one is team management. 9-9. Characterized by high people and task focus, the style has been termed as the most effective style according to Blake and Morton. The leader feels that empowerment, commitment, trust, and respect are the key elements in creating a team atmosphere which will automatically result in high employee satisfaction and production. While the Blake and Morton's model can help managers analyze their leadership style and train themselves to reach the ideal state of 9-9, it ignores the importance of internal and external constraints, matter, and situation. With that, we have come to the end of Module 5. Thank you all for listening.